Cherbourg was liberated by Allied troops last night. That 8-word communique from General Eisenhower's headquarters early on the morning of the 27th of June announced the seizure of the first big objective of the Second Front. American troops, fighting first across the peninsula and then up to the port itself, achieved amazing success in spite of stubborn resistance. The fighting was hard. Cherbourg itself changed hands several times, and after bombing and shelling by both sides, there wasn't a great deal of the town left. But the Americans occupied the ruins and pushed on, with results which we all know. The Germans put up a desperate fight, first to save the peninsula, and then, when all hope was gone, to gain time. They failed in both. Good as they were, the Americans were better, and by the thousand, the enemy were killed or captured. The lucky ones escaped with their lives and took a free trip to England. Many of them showed considerable surprise when they landed. They'd apparently believed Goebbels' stories about England being devastated. The shock of finding out the truth must have been worse than actually being taken prisoner. Close cooperation between all forces has been a great factor in our success. British troops fighting near Caen called in the RAF to attack a steelworks only 1,500 yards from our forward positions. Boston's and Mitchell's were assigned to the job, and very successfully they carried it out. The famous Lorraine Squadron and a squadron of the Royal Dutch Naval Air Service took part in what was to be one of the most accurate attacks of the whole war. In the Caen sector of the front, British troops have been attacking continuously. Their part was to divert large enemy forces while the Americans swept on. The success of their work, though not as spectacular as that of their allies, made possible the capture of Cherbourg, one of France's best deep-water ports. It has meant heavy fighting, but German losses have been considerably greater than our own. In one tank engagement, for instance, 4 Panthers, more heavily armored than even the famous Tigers, were destroyed for the loss of only 1 Sherman. But it's not only men who are fighting the Battle of France. Women, too, are playing their part. Only 9 days after the initial landings, the first contingent of Queen Alexandra's Imperial Nursing Service set foot on the continent. These girls are doing a grand job, often under fire. The skill and comfort which they lavish on our wounded will be long remembered. 53 sisters formed the first party, vanguard of the thousands who will be going over there as we advance further inland. It's been in the little towns and villages of the eastern sector that the heaviest fighting of the whole campaign has taken place. Soldiers from Britain and the Dominions up against crack German divisions, well prepared and in strong defensive positions. But we held on, not allowing the enemy to move even 1 division to the defense of the peninsula. It is one great battle, each ally and each service with its appointed role, all fighting to one concerted plan for one common purpose.